Instant noodles are eaten more than 100 billion times a year worldwide. 3 minutes. That is all it takes for this noodle block to become dinner. That speed comes from a specific industrial process most people never actually see. This is grocery science. Today, we look at what is really inside instant noodles. A noodle block can sit safely on a shelf for 6 months or longer.
Fresh noodles are air-dried. Instant noodles are usually flash-fried at high heat.
The noodle block is only half the story. The seasoning packet holds the rest. By the end of this video, you will understand why this bowl lasts so long.
Instant noodles start as wheat flour dough, pressed thin and cut into strands.
Most instant noodles are deep fried briefly, removing most of the water content.
Removing water is the key step. Bacteria and mold both need moisture to grow. The frying oil also coats the noodles, extending shelf life even further.
Antioxidants are added to the frying oil to prevent it from turning rancid.
One common antioxidant is TBHQ, used widely to stabilize oils in fried foods.
International food safety bodies have evaluated TBHQ and set an approved usage limit.
Regulators in multiple countries permit TBHQ up to 200 parts per million.
Concerns about TBHQ largely come from studies using doses far above normal food levels. At approved food levels, TBHQ is not classified as a carcinogen by regulators.
Some brands now offer air-dried, non-fried instant noodles as an alternative. Air-dried noodles typically contain significantly less fat than traditionally fried versions.
The seasoning packet is where most of the flavor and much of the sodium live.
A single seasoning packet can contain more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium.
That is more than half of a typical adult's recommended daily sodium limit.
MSG is a flavor compound classified as generally recognized as safe by regulators.
Large reviews have found limited evidence supporting widespread MSG sensitivity in the general population. Seasoning packets typically combine dried vegetables, flavor oils, and concentrated broth powder. Flavor scientists replicate meat or vegetable taste using concentrated extracts and compounds. Some packages include a separate oil sachet, adding further fat and calories. Adding block, seasoning, and oil sachet together can push sodium even higher. Instant noodle consumption is especially high in several Asian countries, where research has focused. A National Health Survey study linked frequent instant noodle intake to higher metabolic syndrome rates. That association was notably stronger among women than men in the same study. The study measured an association. It did not prove instant noodles directly caused the outcome. More recent genetic-based research has explored a possible causal link more directly. Researchers emphasize that overall dietary pattern, not one food alone, shapes long-term risk. How quickly food breaks down in the stomach is called gastric emptying time. Some observational studies suggest fried instant noodles may digest more slowly than fresh noodles. One small study using stomach camera observation noted noodles remaining intact after 2 hours. This was a very small, limited study. It should not be treated as definitive proof. Frying, oil coating, and refined flour are proposed factors behind slower digestion, though unconfirmed. Slower digestion alone is not automatically harmful for most otherwise healthy individuals. Refined wheat flour used in most noodles generally has a relatively high glycemic index.
High glycemic foods can cause faster blood sugar rises compared to whole grain alternatives. Whole grain or buckwheat noodle alternatives generally offer more fiber and a lower glycemic response. Standard instant noodle blocks typically contain very little dietary fiber per serving. Fiber slows sugar absorption, which is one reason whole grain versions behave differently. Adding protein, vegetables, and fiber can meaningfully improve a bowl of instant noodles. On their own, instant noodles are low in protein, vitamins, and essential minerals. Nutritionists generally frame instant noodles as a starchy base, not a complete meal. Add vegetables and protein to build a balanced meal. Simple additions can shift instant noodles from an empty meal to a more balanced one. Cup-style instant noodles are often packaged in foam containers for convenience. Very hot liquid in contact with certain plastics or foam can cause trace chemical migration.
Food safety regulators test packaging materials for safe use at typical preparation temperatures. Preparing noodles in a ceramic or glass bowl avoids this packaging concern entirely.
Different flavor variants often share the same base noodle block with different seasoning packets.
Some seasoning powders include color additives to make broth appear richer or more vibrant. Hydrolyzed vegetable protein is another common flavor enhancer used in seasoning packets. Smaller quantity ingredients near the list's end are usually acidity regulators or minor preservatives. Manufacturers test stored noodle blocks periodically to confirm oil has not turned rancid. Additive regulations vary by country, so formulations can differ across global markets. Cup noodles often list more than one serving, understating what people typically actually eat. Most people eat the entire cup at once, doubling the listed nutrition numbers. Cup versions can sometimes carry higher sodium per serving than bagged block versions. Reduced sodium versions exist and can lower total sodium by a meaningful margin. Comparing brands directly often reveals large sodium and fat differences within the same category. A package claiming no added MSG does not mean the product is low in sodium. Natural flavor on a seasoning packet can still represent many combined chemical compounds. Premium-sounding names do not necessarily indicate different frying or preservative methods. Serving size text is often smaller than the flavor description printed above it. Packaging color and imagery do not reliably reflect the nutrition facts panel underneath. Flipping the package remains the most reliable way to verify any front label claim. A baked, not fried claim addresses fat content, but does not address sodium levels. Store brand versions frequently share very similar ingredient lists to name brand products. Checking sodium content first before flavor claims gives a clearer nutritional picture. Comparing several brands side by side often reveals meaningful, avoidable sodium differences. Use less seasoning powder, add a protein source, and add fresh or frozen vegetables. Using half the seasoning packet can cut sodium significantly while keeping most of the flavor. Adding a protein source turns a starchy snack into a more balanced small meal.
Frozen vegetables are an easy, low-cost way to add fiber and nutrients. Choosing air-dried noodle versions can meaningfully lower total fat per serving. Instant noodles remain one of the least expensive meal options available in stores. Small upgrades let instant noodles fit into a balanced diet without added cost. Knowledge about ingredients is not about fear. It is about informed, confident choices. We started this video with a simple bowl of steaming noodles. Behind every instant noodle bowl is a formulation built for speed and shelf life. The evidence points to sodium and frequency as the biggest factors worth watching. That understanding gives you a real choice rather than just a fast one. At Grocery Science, we examine food through evidence, not to generate fear. Coming up, what is really inside trail mix? Bottled smoothies and cured bacon. Thank you for watching Grocery Science. Stay curious, stay informed.